Waiting for the first guest. Waiting for the first guest. So like I said, this is all about wellness. But today we want to talk about which cooking oil we should be using because this is the question that is often occurring. People often ask me this question. And it's an important aspect of our diet that we should be careful or we should pay attention because it's actually ignorance that makes us believe or think that it's better to avoid oil, all kinds of oil and fat. It's an important aspect of life, but we must be careful to choose wisely. We must be careful to know exactly the content and the substance of the one we are using. I'll be waiting to receive the first guest. So if you are thinking of which oil to use, it's important to consider oils that are free from trans fat. Many of us are actually using the red palm oil, which is very, very common in our community. It's very common amongst us. But over time, you will also notice or discover that it's quite heavy. Why? Because it's high in saturated fat. And we know the dangers of saturated fat. But fortunately, also, most of these fats are good. But there is an aspect of it which is also not so good. It's a source of palmitic acid. And more importantly, we need to also know that there are so many adulterations. And one of the things we should be careful not to take the fake side of it or the adulterated aspect is the fat or oils because of the dangers it poses to our heart health, because of the danger it poses to our overall health. So it's important to be very careful and watchful not to uh, consume fats that are not healthy. As we go along, I will also be telling us some of the uh, benefits of using this fat in your cooking or having a good profile of healthy fats in your diet. There are very few of them. Most of what we see around, most of the oils we see, most of the beautifully packaged oils we see around are far from what the labels are saying. Oftentimes, the labels claim they are fat free, they are cholesterol free, they are heart friendly, so many other claims. But though they may have all of this, but most of these things have been artificially manipulated. The real healthy fats were, were removed and replaced with oils, nutrients, or ingredients that favors the shelf life of these oils. And then most times flavors and other ingredients that are added makes it taste nice and even better. And that's why most of us fall victim to things like this. And we just embrace it, we take it. But surprisingly, they do not cause instant harm or damage to health. You have to continue with it, taking them for a long time. And that is why it is risky, it is dangerous to, you know, take uh, this oil, because before you realize it, the damage has already been done. Before you know it, a lot of things have been destroyed internally. And that is why we should be careful when choosing this oil. There are various ways you can know when the oil is from a good source. Most importantly, you must know what the oil is made of and ensure that there are uh, no other processing that may have added what you don't need. You don't need some of those preservatives, some of those things that are added. So once the oil is not naturally occurring, it contains trans fatty acids. That is the way we choose to call it, because it becomes even more acidic. Though most oils, when taken in large amounts, may pose some form of acid in the body, as if it's acid, because it will now begin to manifest like an acid, an acidic kind of begin to show up some inflammatory responses. So, but if the oils are naturally occurring and taken in the right amount, you do not have to worry. You do not have to uh, be disturbed about inflammations, because one of the worst enemies of our heart is when you take or you are consuming the wrong kind of fat. If you want to avoid or prevent heart ailments, heart diseases, heart related issues, then you must be careful with oils, because oils are the ones the heart finds difficult to deal with. We will be talking of the best friends, our heart's best friends. We have the worst enemies of the heart, which oils constitute one of them. We also have the best friends. So it's important for us to know the best friends, the worst friends. Then will also know which foods and where to find them. Now, when you are talking about uh, fats, healthy fats, oils, and all of that in your diet, these oils contains, different. Each one is different and unique oils and fats. And so it's important not to focus only on one particular oil. That is where many of us go wrong. When you put your focus on a particular oil and you are using it, you may now be missing out on other important aspects. So it's important to be well educated and knowledgeable so that you will know what exactly are the constituents of the particular one you're using and when to add others. That being too regular, too frequent with a particular food, oils, just consistently, because that is the habit of many of us. We use, for instance, red oil. We are raised with it. We are brought up with it. Now, red palm oil is not a source of omega-3 fatty acids. And then you see women in the villages, women of about our age, are suffering from arthritis, joint pains, and joint issues, joint-related issues. And you are wondering why. Because when omega-6 is much in the diet, which is what most of these oils contain, when the omega-6 is too much in the body, omega-6 and other fatty acids, the resultant effect of such is what you're going to get. So you're going to be experiencing frequent inflammations. And then many of us resort to medications because of ignorance. Because of ignorance. But if you know the importance of omega-3 fatty acids and how it helps your connecting tissues and joints and the effect, then we will be able to know the foods, how to alternate and include oils in our diet. Most of the oils you see, commercial oils you see, they are not source of omega-3 fats. They are not source of omega-3 fats. In the course of this subject, which will be extended, there is going to be a follow-up by a part 2 of this subject talking about oils. There is going to be a follow-up, a continuity of it. So it will help us understand it better and then make good choice of oils to take and know when to stop or when to include another one. There are various oils, healthy fats, avocados, we have olive oil, we have coconut oil, we have peanut oil, and red palm oil, several other, even almond oil, walnut oil, they're all there. But each one has its own uniqueness. It may come to a time when you feel that you are experiencing inflammations and you need to increase your omega-3 fatty acid food sources, then you will need to go low on red palm oil. Why I am actually particular about it is that many of us are already used to it. And besides, it even tastes nice if you get the unadulterated one. So when you are using it, you will be enjoying it. It has a lot of benefits too. For instance, it helps the platelet count to be complete. It's actually great for growing children because if you are in a location or in a place or in a situation where you do not have sufficient resources to buy a lot of varieties for the kids to eat and be okay. If you add enough red palm oil, quality red palm oil in their diet, they may not likely suffer from uh, uh, anemia or a difference, a kind of an unhealthy balance in the platelet count between red blood and white blood corpuscles. So it's important to know these things so that we do not just invite diseases through what we eat, because what we eat is actually what causes diseases in us. Disease it does not come from anywhere. None of us was born with any disease. In most cases, okay, some are hereditary, but if you eat right, most of these things could be, the onset could be delayed or prevented, as a matter of fact. Because I have come to believe that there is no disease that is not reversible, irrespective of your age. If you can discover on time before too many damages or destruction are done within, you can reverse it through diet, through knowledge and information. But it's incidentally, many of us are not knowledgeable in this aspect. So one of the first things we do when we are trying to manage ailment is to avoid oils and fats. And of course, there is a tendency to want to do that, to follow that path, because when you are sick or when your immune system is sick or down, the first thing you notice is your inability to carry fat, to absorb fat, or to take in, because the body becomes heavy, it becomes sluggish, becomes acidic, the liver is already maybe soaked in oil and it's not working. The kidney also may not also be working because they have been clogged with too many toxins. So it becomes difficult to metabolize fats. Even the healthy ones becomes difficult to metabolize because of the situation of the organs, which are usually affected by the oils we use, the oils we cook with. Now, when we talk about oils, oil does not only come from the, the cooking, what you cook. Oils does not only come from what you cook. Oils also come from the fruits, the nuts especially, that we take. If you think the food you're eating, the oil is bad or you don't know the source, you can get all the fats and oils you need from the nuts you consume without any additional need of cooking oils, because most of the cooking oils are actually pressed, expressed from these nuts and seeds. And in the process of preserving them or uh, processing them, things are added with commercial interest of the producers or processors of such foods. So when those things are added, they do not actually have you and I in mind. They have in mind to maximize profit, to lengthen the commercial shelf life of the product. And so it is sometimes better or wiser to get the seeds or nuts containing these oils and ingest them directly without any processing in order to get your oils and fats. Now, when you are considering the cooking oil first, you must also consider whether the oil can stand heat. I see a lot of people cooking with cold pressed olive oil. It's very wrong. I see people, it's not a show. Sometimes it may be a show of maybe affluence that you have the money. You can buy gallons of it, but it doesn't work that way. You need knowledge. Lack of knowledge is destructive. I have also heard people say proudly say that they cook with olive oil, cold pressed olive oil, because they have heard that cold pressed oil, olive oil is the best, has the best profile, or is good. So it is good, fine. But is it good for cooking? Because when you cook with the oil, it begins to produce other things when heat is applied. And you remember that when heat is applied, the body's way of accepting such foods is totally different. So when heat is applied on the oils that can stand heat, high point, that when heated, they remain the same. They do not change their structure. Nothing changes. They do not, make room for other free radicals to enter. These oils are the ones that are best for cooking. So it's not all oils that are very good when you use it in cooking. I have tested a lot of oils in the process. I have tested sunflower oil, used it for a long time, and I've seen its own shortcomings. I've used all kinds, a lot of oils, and I frequently like to talk about it because there is a lot of ignorance when it comes to this aspect of our diet. Ignorance is still very high, and people need education. People need to be educated because the absence of education makes ignorance, rates the ignorance continues to expand and could lead to diseases. When the disease is prevalent too much, most times it's because of lack of knowledge, absence of education. When people are educated, well educated about oils, we discover that most diseases won't be there. We have autoimmune diseases, we have arthritis, we have a lot of diseases that affects the joints and others like that, the skin and many other parts of the body. But if we can pay attention to knowledge and understand the role of these oils in our cooking, in our body, then we will be able to choose the right oil. And I have told us this is just the beginning. I will be talking more on this aspect of our diet and how it affects our health because of the ignorance level is high. you will remember to continue to follow. I want you to join. I want you to join this live. I want you to join it. I want you to also share it. And I want you to participate. You can comment also and tell us, let us know the one you are using. We can talk about it. And maybe there are things you don't know about it. I'll address it. We'll share, make your comment, and then maybe I will take up your comment and then make it a subject, a topic subsequently, so that we do not, leave anyone living in ignorance while still in this community. Uh, the place of oil and the way it affects our health, oils and fats, an important part of our diet. I repeat, we are always conscious of proteins, carbohydrates, vitamins, and minerals, but not much is usually said about oils. I will be coming live again to talk more on this aspect. And in the course of this subject of discussion, I'll be exposing to us the worst oils to avoid and the best oils that you should be embracing for your food. Thank you.